Another sabotage of Armenian forces prevented. 2 Armenian servicemen killed, Minister of Defense of Azerbaijan reported. President Ilham Aliyev says Azerbaijan getting more independent from pressure of oil prices. Organization of Islamic Conference countries show principled position on recognition of Khojaly genocide. European Bank for Development and Reconstruction annulled economic growth rate for Armenia.
The president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, has offered his condolences to Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud over the death of King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The letter of condolences says, "We are deeply saddened upon hearing the news about the death of custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Highly influential King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud demonstrated boundless loyalty to his people in his all activities and left an indelible mark on the international scene and in the history of Saudi Arabia as a wise and far-sighted politician. He played a major role in the establishment of unity and solidarity between the peoples of the Muslim world. King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud had a big role in the development and expansion of friendly and cooperative relations between Azerbaijan and Saudi Arabia. I share your grief and on my own behalf and on behalf of the Azerbaijani people extend my deepest condolences to you, your family, and brotherly people of Saudi Arabia. May he rest in peace," the letter concluded. President Ilham Aliyev took part in a session of the World Economic Forum titled Regions in Transformation Eurasia, held on January 22nd in Davos, Switzerland. In his speech, the president said Azerbaijan became independent in 1991. The president also spoke about the transformation that took place in Azerbaijan. President Aliyev said that from economic point of view, Azerbaijan's economy now is 85% private sector, adding that the policy of diversification of economy is also successfully implemented. He said Azerbaijan is getting more and more independent from the pressure of oil prices.
We want to have the same situation and system in Azerbaijan as in the developed countries of the world. And if you look at the developed countries of the world, you will see that none of them has oil or gas. And those who have oil and gas sometimes do not have the full benefits of these resources. So oil and gas is just a means for development.
He further said Azerbaijan has already become a donor country. We ourselves already finance several projects, the president added. Now our energy resources play a role in the region, and just recently we launched a new mega project, which is called the 1,000 Gas Corridor, to transport gas from Azerbaijan to Europe, which will probably be one of the biggest infrastructure projects of Europe. He also noted that the diversification of economy is now one of the most important elements for every country, especially those rich with oil and gas. The Azerbaijan president further said that there are conflicts and threats in the region, including threats of terrorist attacks. Azerbaijan has been suffering from the occupation of Armenia for over 20 years, and the negotiation process doesn't lead to any results. President Aliyev said that although the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is the regional conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, it has an impact on broader scale from the point of geography and methodology. He said that this conflict must be resolved based on the norms of the international law.
And also important is that international law norms should not be interpreted by different countries with respect to their interests. They must be interpreted as they've been written. And it's a very clear definition in United Nations Charter, in documents of OSCE and other international organizations about priorities of the principles of international law. So all of them must be observed. Then we will avoid double standards, and more important, we will avoid or maybe reduce the risks of new conflicts in our region.
Moreover, the president stressed that from practical point of view, nobody in Azerbaijan feels impact from the Ukrainian conflict. The president said that from the political point of view, for any country that has good, friendly relations with Russia and Ukraine, it is not a preferable situation. Noting that Azerbaijan has a lot of connections, the president said that 1 million of Azerbaijanis live in Russia and more than 500,000 people live in Ukraine. The president said Azerbaijan's position on territorial integrity is very very clear and straightforward, and no one can expect any other position from the country. The president noted that the countries like Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and some others have their own agenda, their own position, and they do not want to damage relations with Russia or Ukraine. The president also expressed hope that soon there will be ceasefire and then agreements.
Armenian sabotage and reconnaissance groups attempted to cross the line of contact between Azerbaijani and Armenian troops last night. Azerbaijan's defense ministry said, while sustaining casualties during the intense shooting, the Armenians were forced to retreat thanks to the vigilance of the Azerbaijani armed forces, the ministry said. According to preliminary data, Lieutenant Karen Galstyan and Artak Sargsyan were killed, Armenian media reported. The ministry noted that the Azerbaijani armed forces suffered no losses. Azerbaijani servicemen fully control the situation along the contact line and are ready to prevent any sabotage of the enemy. Presentation of Baku 2015 First European Games has been held in Davos, Switzerland. The ceremony was attended by President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev. In connection with the First European Games, which will be held in Baku this year, advertising banners have been placed in various locations in Zurich and Davos. This made it possible to promote Azerbaijan's rich culture and sporting traditions at the World Economic Forum. The presentation ceremony, held with the organization and support of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, was attended by representatives of public and political circles of Switzerland, the international sports community, as well as representatives of foreign countries participating in the World Economic Forum. Guests were presented various editions of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation on Azerbaijan, including a booklet on the First European Games. President Ilham Aliyev and the President of the European Olympic Committees, Patrick Hickey, made speeches at the ceremony. Participants of the ceremony further watched a film dedicated to the First European Games. The film provides extensive information about the preparations for the tournament and other activities.
Head of the Youth Forum of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation of Azerbaijan and the Secretary General of OIC Parliamentary Union Mahmoud Erol Kılıç signed a protocol on cooperation between the two structures, Azerbaijani Foreign Ministry said. This signing ceremony took place during the 10th session of the OIC Parliamentary Union in Turkey's Istanbul. Aside from the broad cooperation in numerous spheres, the document also envisages cooperation in holding Justice for Khojaly campaign. In the resolution on cooperation between the International Forum and the Parliamentary Union of OIC adopted during this session, the parliaments of the OIC member states once again showed the principled position on the recognition of the Khojaly tragedy as genocide, the foreign minister said. The participation of OIC member states in the Justice for Khojaly campaign and cooperation between them in this sphere at the international level plays an important role in the recognition of the Khojaly genocide in the world, said the ministry. Armenian armed forces, together with the 366th Infantry Regiment of Soviet troops stationed in Khankendi, committed an act of genocide against the population of the Azerbaijani town of Khojaly on February 25 to 26, 1992. As a result of the massacre, some 613 people were killed, including 63 children, 106 women, and 7 old people. 8 families were totally exterminated, 130 children lost one parent, and 25 children lost both. A total of 487 civilians became disabled as a result of the onslaught. Some 1,275 innocent residents were taken hostage, while the fate of 150 people remains unknown.
Armenia is absent at the Davos, world's most prestigious economic meeting that brings together annually the planet's top brains in politics, economics and journalism, kicked off this year minus one country, Armenia. The 2015 edition of the annual economic forum began on January 21st, where Armenia does not have a seat at this 45th global forum. Van Khachatryan, an Armenian economist, believed that Armenia doesn't attend the forum just because the government has nothing to address. Davos is not only a platform for talks over economic issues, but also a venue for political and economic elite of the world, said Khachatryan, adding that it seems that Armenia has nothing to contribute or gain. Hayk Gevorgyan, an economic columnist, said Armenia's participation at the Davos Forum would be an insignificant waste of money. The experience shows that participation at the global business event will not affect Armenia's economy, he added. He also noted that going to Davos is not an option to attract investments, while Armenia needs to create a free market atmosphere to achieve this goal. Vahid Ahmedov, the member of the Azerbaijani Parliament's Economic Commission, said Armenia's current economic condition prevented it from attending the World Economic Forum annual meeting. The agenda of the World Economic Forum, which will last till January 25th, includes such issues as the current situation in the world market, changes in the exchange rates of the major currencies, oil prices, increasing of the terrorism threat, and others. The forum is being attended by the heads of states and governments, heads of the leading global companies, as well as representatives of the non-governmental organizations. Over 2,500 representatives from 140 countries are taking part in the forum.
The European Bank for Development and Reconstruction has downgraded its forecast for the economic growth in Armenia. The EBRD predicted a zero economic growth in Armenia, saying the economy of the post-Soviet nation is now expected to stagnate in 2015. The European Bank claims that the depreciation of the ruble has increased pressures on the currencies of economies with strong trade, investment and remittances ties to Russia, particularly with the sharpest decline in Armenia, along with Belarus and Turkmenistan. Armenia has drawn the poorest outlook from the EBRD, remaining considerably far behind its regional neighbors Azerbaijan and Georgia. For now, the EBRD forecast is the worst prognosis by an international financial organization related to Armenia's economic growth for this year. The EBRD experts downgraded the growth rate based on the correlation of Armenia's economy with the deepening economic hassle in Russia, which in turn is linked to the fall in oil prices. Strong subjection to Russia's economy has seriously affected the public opinion about Armenia's free economy. The country deepened its dependence on Russia by joining the Eurasian Economic Union, a trade bloc of the post-Soviet nations. Armenia's strong reliance on the migrant money sent from Russia was also among the decisive factors behind the most recent Moody's outlook for Armenia, which featured a downgrade to negative from stable. Meantime, the National Statistics Service announced the latest report on poverty rate in Armenia. Nearly 32% or 1 million of the overall population live on a poverty threshold, as the average monthly income of one-third of the population is under $82. Armenia needs $176 million annually to eradicate the poverty in the country.
The Baku-based Museum of Miniature Books, which is currently the only private museum in the world, has been included in the Guinness World Records. The museum features about 7,000 books published in 66 countries. It contains a variety of items, including creations of well-known world classics, religious publications, inaugural speeches by presidents, etc. The most unique exhibits are 4 microbooks published at the Toppan Publishing House in Tokyo and 4 microbooks published in Germany. The smallest item is a book from the Toppan Publishing House, which contains 22 pages describing the 4 seasons of the year. Founder of the Miniature Books Museum, Zarifa Salahova, was inspired to create such a museum by a speech of national leader Heydar Aliyev. A relevant application was filed in the first half of 2014. In January 2015, the application of the museum was reportedly accepted, and it was recognized as the world's largest collection of miniature books. Guinness World Records certificate is expected to be presented to the founder of the Miniature Books Museum in the near future. According to Salahova, the main requirement was that a miniature book should not be higher than 75 millimeters, though in the Soviet times the size of such a book was 100 by 100. Then only the items that complied with the standards of Guinness Records books were numbered, and we came up with a total of 2,913 books, Salahova said. Zarifa Salahova has been collecting miniature books for over 30 years. It took her more than half a year to achieve this record.